Good morning, everybody. Wanted to share this article with you. Quite interesting. Had a nice chat with the legend that is Mike Hunter yesterday, and then discovered this particular article, which I would like to share with you now. Obviously, the news last week about Edinburgh needing to find a new home, and it would seem as if buying the existing stadium is unviable. But this was an article going way back by Mike Hunter, way back to 2010. Monday, 10th of May, 2010, by Mike Hunter in the, this is obviously the Edinburgh Monarchs website. The Speedway Monarchs back in 2010 are delighted to announce that they have today lodged a pre-planning application to build a Speedway stadium on a 14-acre site at South Couston, Bathgate, just 1 mile northeast as the crow flies from their existing home in Armadale. Club chairman Alex Harkis said, "It's an exciting time for the club as we enter a period of discussion with local community over our stadium plans. We believe that we have located a site that will have no impact either with noise or the main problem we have at the moment, parking. We will be entirely self-contained within our site with parking facilities well in excess of our current site. We hope to secure full planning consent by later this year to allow us to begin construction before the end of 2010. We are targeting staging the first meeting at the new site in April 2011. The new site will feature a speedway circuit with related facilities, a covered enclosure with seating for 500 and cover for a further 1,000. Within this enclosure will be food outlets, club shop, bar, offices, and elsewhere on the site will be hospitality units. The track will be constructed to International Motorcycling Federation standards to allow for the staging of world events in the future. An additional mini track will also be situated on another part of the site to allow for the establishment of the Scottish Speedway Academy. It is also the intention to open dialogue with the local community with a view to developing facilities for the benefit of the local residents." And I must admit, if we do lose Edinburgh because they can't find a home to replace Armadale, that would be the big shame, wouldn't it, if there was not a Scottish Speedway Academy. Concluded Harkness, "We've looked at other recently developed speedway circuits and believe that by incorporating the best ideas with many excellent ideas of our own, we will be able to develop a stadium that West Lothian will be proud of and will allow the Monarchs to reign supreme in the area that they now call home." And I say that was interesting. I didn't realize that Mike had written that. And there, of course, we see that's Drew Tully, I think, Alex, the Provost, Tom Kerr, no less, John Campbell, and Stormy Weathers. And we see the area that they're on about. Obviously, that never came to fruition. Although, as I say, if you like, the Scottish Speedway Academy has definitely come to fruition with the Armadale Devils, and it's good to see them up and running. Now, going up to certainly East Lothian and that area around Trinidad, Musselburgh, Dave Harley territory. I've seen this structure for many years, and I wanted to share it with you. A lot of you will know about the site at Wallingford. Let's just have a look though what's happening with that site at Wallingford. This would have been, from my point of view, I think this would have been absolutely perfect, but it seems not. So this is the Midlothian view. News: I saw Greyhound stand finally coming down. Now, obviously, Speedway, Greyhound, they go hand in hand, but look at that. That's the stand. That's the stand that they built at Wallingford to have a greyhound track. And of course, you know, what better than to double the income of a sports arena by having greyhound and speedway. It's a situation that works really well. But this is, what date is this? February the 4th, 2022, by Marie Sharp. A giant spectator stand, which has stood on the top of a hill for more than 15 years as a stark landmark in East Lothian landscape, is finally coming down. The steel structure was put up by Serious Sport and Leisure after East Lothian Council demanded work began on a planned Greyhound Stadium at the Walliford site before housing needed to fund the project was built. So this is interesting, isn't it? They put up the stand in order to build the houses. Did they ever really have any serious intention about opening a greyhound track? As it says here, however, the stadium was never built, and as the costs rose and support for dog racing waned, the firm's owner admitted it was no longer a viable project. But not before they'd made plenty of money on the houses, I'm sure. Thousands of anti-racing supporters signed a petition demanding the proposed stadium was scrapped, and the removal of the stand is a final victory in their campaign. Cranes moved onto the site this week to begin dismantling the stand, with work delayed by high winds, and local residents whose homes look out onto it admit they are relieved to see it go. One said, "It is an eyesore and sticks out like a sore thumb, but it has also become a bit of a landmark. You always knew you were nearly home when you saw it from the A1 after a long journey." It is right off the A1, just literally. It would have been perfect for accessibility. Obviously, this problem of the local residents, the NIMBYism, that they're not in my backyard. You know, we've had this same problem at Berwick in the past, although we have had the opportunity to run some meetings on Wednesdays and other nights. But, you know, we've got a curfew from 6:30 to 9:30. And I can't help thinking that we need to get the people that would object to the use of having Speedway on other times. Just get them along, see what it's like, get them on our side. But anyway, Serious Sport and Leisure successfully applied to build housing on adjoining land at Barbaclough Farm over the years, arguing it was the only way to fund the stadium project. Yeah, what an interesting that, isn't it? Yeah, they were able to build the houses. Oh yeah. However, the housing was tied into an agreement with East Lothian Council that the racing venue would be built. But guess what? The stand has stood alone on the site since the early noughties, and last year the council agreed to drop the condition after the firm's director, Howard Wallace, said changing attitudes towards greyhound racing in society and among politicians, along with the closure of a number of UK stadiums, has made the project obsolete. Well, he said, "I regret that against this involving background, I have not been able to proceed with the stadium any further. My company, Serious Sports and Leisure, have written off stadium costs of 2.53 million in its accounts. Local firm John Gilmore Butchers has applied for planning permission to move its Merry operations to the site so it can expand. The firm want to create a new butchery, a processing factory for a new range of plant-based foods, a deli, food hall, and create 40 new jobs. Plans for a greyhound stadium at Walliford were first put forward in 2001 and finally approved 4 years later as part of a mixed-use development, including business and housing. Campaigners have lobbied for years against the stadium and welcomed news it was no longer going ahead. News that the council had agreed to remove the stadium from a condition for the site was welcomed on social media, with one Twitter user tweeting, "It's over." As I say, there you see, there's the cranes moving in. You can see the size of that stand. I think it would have been a great place for the Monarchs to have moved to. And as I say, very handy for Dave because it would have been near his doorstep. But anyway, not to worry. It is concerning. very, very concerning when, as I was saying to Mike, when you hear Sam Masters talking about the need to make sure that this year is a good one for the Monarchs in case it's their last. That is worrying. How they're going to get around this problem, I'm not sure. Talking of Mike Hunter as well, he has agreed. I'm very pleased that he's agreed to come on. In fact, I sort of suggested why doesn't him and Dick Barry come on at the same time, but then I realised that Mike probably wouldn't get a word in edgeways. Sorry, Dick. I'm only joking. Other sad news. There is this, as I say, this. We've seen the decline of Speedway in the UK. I've seen it since 1989, when, you know, and 88 when I first started following the sport. Poland has become the big place to be, and people go to Sweden, and the UK seems to be on the decline. And I can't help thinking it's, you know, we didn't help ourselves by bringing in loads and loads of foreign riders, so that we're not really developing the sport here in the UK. And when there are tracks that are, you know, tracks that are encouraging youngsters, things like this, news like this, is somewhat disappointing, shall we say? Let me show you. So this is from the Leicester Lions official Leicester Speedway website. What's it now? So I've got the puppy here with me. Thursday, June 2nd, 2022. Anders Rowe leaves the Lions. Leicester, come here. Leicester are in the market for a new rider, with the news that Anders Rowe has stood down from his place in the team. Rowe's final appearance for the Watling JCB Lions came in Wednesday's 52-38 win at Birmingham, where he scored 9 points, and he has now left the club with immediate effect. I mean, let's carry on, because the former 20-year-old former National League Riders champion has endured a stop-start campaign, punctuated by illness, fair enough, and whilst the Lions as a team have racked up several big scores at home, Rowe's better performance have come away from the Paul Chapman and Son Arena. And I'm thinking, well, hold on a sec. If you're scoring so heavily at home, you know, what you don't need, and, you know, we've kind of suffered with this in the past at Berwick. We've had riders that are absolutely brilliant named Berwick and score bugger all away from home. You know, yeah, bless him, Danny Gap, brilliant at Berwick, but never did the business. You know, if you wanted to build a team that's going to be successful wherever they go, I don't get it. Anyway, it says here, co-promoter Stuart Dixon said, I think the biggest problem for Anders is that he hasn't mastered the Leicester track. And there's no doubt that's had an adverse effect on his confidence. Okay, but Stuart, where's the bit about, you know, the senior riders have tried to help him, and the management have tried to help him and given him track time and all that kind of, you know, where's that? I find this quite strange. I do believe he's a better rider than his overall results and current average suggest, which is why I signed him in the first place. This hasn't come totally out of the blue. We've known for a while that he wasn't happy. Okay, so he's not happy with his form, you know. But as I say, where's this paragraph about, you know, the fact that, as I say, the senior riders have spoken to him, tried to encourage him, you know, tried to help him get used to the track. But anyway, I'll get on to the main point shortly. You know, this hasn't come out of the blue. We've known for a while he wasn't happy, and we've been looking for a replacement for the last 3 or 4 weeks. We do appreciate Anders carrying on whilst we try to get someone in, and that search continues. So they haven't got anybody lined up yet. Both rider and club have parted company on good terms, and we wish Anders well for the future. Lions will look to bring in a new signing as soon as possible, but in the meantime, they have applied for a facility to cover for Rowe, starting with weekends championships championship matches against Berwick. Again, speaking with Mike Hunter, we were talking about the number of riders that have gone on to become very, very good riders, and yet when they started off at a club, that they seemed pretty innocuous. Obviously, from a Berwick point of view, we're mighty glad that we got the benefit of Jai Etheridge, who has matured into a fantastic rider, but of course was considered at one time apparently as one of the worst signings that Edinburgh had ever made. And then Mike pointed out to me, well, Sam Masters was apparently kicked out of King's Lynn or somewhere for the fact that he wasn't making the grade. And look at him now. And I feel, with my background in music education, that these teams are very, very quick to get on the backs of people for taking their time to develop. But I would ask a question, would you rather have somebody who's stunningly rose through the ranks and then plateaued? Would you rather have somebody that maybe bobbled along the bottom a bit and then started to take off? I've seen it both in music, and as I say, sometimes the ones that are slow starters but gradually improve, they are the ones that eventually make the grade, as we've seen, as I say, with likes of Sam Masters. Anyway, talking about Sam, him and his Wolves team had a fantastic result at Peterborough yesterday. And of course, it's interesting, isn't it, that Peterborough champions last year, really struggling this year, and yet they've only made one team change. I think that's Bjarne Pedersen out and Benjamin Basso in. And there's been a lot of comment on social media about, what on earth has happened to Peterborough. And I think that's being slightly disingenuous. I think the point should be, that Wolverhampton are back to full strength. They went there and did the business full time, despite the fact that, Chris Harris, superb 18-point maximum. And let's hope that he does not an 18-point maximum. Let's hope we don't need a tax sub on Saturday. But if we did, he would be the man, obviously, for the job. But 18-point maximum from Chris. Just keep that form going on Saturday, Chris, and Sunday. I've seen him week in, week out. He is just getting better and better and better at the Shearfield track and really attacking it, and obviously enjoying it. He passes. He seems to be able to ride passes for fun most of the time. And what was really interesting, it's something that Dick Barry has always pointed out. When you look at the actual score chart for last night at Peterborough, who I must admit, I don't mind seeing Peterborough get beat. Hell, they've hammered Berwick a few times at Shearfield. On one occasion live on Sky, and I was there, and it was like woeful. I think we managed to draw like the last part of the meeting, but the damage was done at the start. But here's what's really interesting, was that last night, with the help of Chris Harris getting 6 wins, they managed a total of 8 first places. Peterborough had more heat wins than Wolves. Wolves obviously with 7, but as Dick Barry always says, that's not the most important thing. It's the next statistic, and that is that Wolves managed just 4 last places, and the Panthers managed 9. So really, for me, the credit must go, as I say, to Wolves for doing such a good job. And the man behind me there, passing Jason Crump, Leon Flint, who scored page 7. If he'd have only scored 1, Wolves wouldn't have won, would they? But if he'd have scored just if he'd scored just 1, then obviously it would have been a draw. But anyway, moving on to a bit of fun now. As some of you've probably seen, I've started doing a load of live chats, and they've been absolutely brilliant fun. And becoming a regular on the channel is Greg Blair. And I do feel sorry somewhat for Greg, because he's not had the best of luck this last weekend just past. Some of you will know that his let's just put that down there. Oh, I don't. Sorry, look, I'm trying to do. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to do this. Here we go. Some of you will know that he had his van breakdown. He had to call out called the insurance. They sent a recovery, CVS 24-hour recovery. His van then went missing for 5 days. However, it gets worse. When he got his van open, he found he'd only got half the bike. Where could the other half be? I wonder. Let's have a look. See if we can find the other bit. Just bear with me. I will call it up. Yeah, so where's the other half of his bike? Don't worry, Greg. Don't worry, Greg. I think I found it. It's shared by I think Scott Nichols last night. Dan Bewley's got the other half of your bike, Greg. There you go. Okay. So anyway, looking forward to the double header on Saturday, tomorrow at Shielfield. Should be an absolute cracker. With two good teams going head to head. Still waiting on Jai Etheridge to return. Apparently he's planning on turning up for Bellevue on Monday the 6th. So let's hope that goes well for him, just as it has done for Leon, and fortunately for Ty Proctor. He's seemingly aggravated the injury, this ongoing injury that he's had with the metalwork in his neck. And so we've got Lee Complin in to guest for Ty on Saturday. And talking of Lee Complin, pleased to say that he's actually going to be our next guest when hopefully I'll get together with Marty and James and have a chat with Lee Complin and one or two other fairly good riders. Obviously Greg. Greg is now hopefully a permanent fixture on the chat. So anyway, plenty to look forward to. As I say, disappointing at the same time, though, that Edinburgh need to get something sorted out as quick as possible, because it's less than a year till the season starts again. We wouldn't want to see this being the Monarchs last year. And I do want to ask Lee Complin about, what advice he would give to, youngsters coming into the sport. I think the other two riders might have something to say about, passing on advice to youngsters as well. One is now a team manager, as a lot of them do become. Anyway, we'll catch you all soon. Finally, I'd like to say I really appreciate some of the nice comments that we've had regarding the live chats that we've done so far. And yeah, we've certainly fully intend on keeping going. We've got so much to discuss, and having that longer, sometimes an hour, or sometimes just 40, 45 minutes, sometimes an hour. The one with Carrie, obviously, just short of 2 hours. But it's great because we can have a little bit longer to discuss things with the people, and it's not just the normal questions and the normal answers that you get. As Greg Blair said, we can dig a bit deeper because we've got more time. Anyway, and hopefully the people that come on feel more relaxed and asking a rider just after he's won a race or meeting, you know, how did that go? Or worse still, you know, you've just lost a meeting, how did that go? Anyway, catch you all soon. And if you see me at Shielfield, as one or two of you have, yeah, say hello. I'll normally be there with the dogs, Jock and Luna. Catch you soon. Bye for now.